This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
A man is accused of opening fire on police Sunday near Soap Lake before ultimately being shot in the leg by officers.
When wildfires unleash their fury, it can bring out the worst in Mother Earth and the best in her people.
Chelan County cryptocurrency miners came back for another round of public comment Monday before the PUD, hoping not to lose the cheap electricity rates that brought them here.
High school football teams across the Columbia Basin and Wenatchee areas have been forced to practice indoors while the air quality outside has been dangerous.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
A man is accused of opening fire on police Sunday near Soap Lake before ultimately being shot in the leg by officers. 26-year-old Alejandro Rodriguez is charged with 2 counts of assault in the first degree with multiple aggravators in connection to Sunday's shooting. Rodriguez is being held without bail with a review hearing set for Monday. Officers had gone to an address on Adrian Avenue Northwest in Lakeview in an effort to locate Alfredo Silva, wanted for armed robbery in Ephrata. 2 Ephrata police officers, Sergeant Ryan Harvey and Officer Bill Roberts, contacted a woman at the home while Grant County Sheriff's Deputy Scott Granger and Soap Lake Police Officer Nick Diaz pulled up to the back of the home through the alley. The woman led officers to a shed at the back of the property where officers were told a man was inside. Rodriguez later exited the shed and officers began yelling for him to stop, but he reportedly walked away toward a junk pile. Investigators say Rodriguez took cover behind the junk pile while reaching toward his waist. He allegedly then exchanged gunfire with officers and reportedly shot at both groups, 2 officers in the alley and 2 approaching from the home. Officer Diaz told investigators 1 round went between him and Deputy Granger, striking a patrol vehicle. 3 officers, Harvey, Roberts, and Granger, returned fire on Rodriguez, who was shot in the leg before surrendering. A 9mm pistol with 1 round in the chamber, along with an empty magazine, were reportedly recovered near the junk pile Rodriguez had hid behind. Bullets were also recovered from a home across the alley and from a motorhome where one of the officers took cover. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata.
When wildfires unleash their fury, it can bring out the worst in Mother Earth and the best in her people. With thousands of wildland firefighters once again descending upon north central Washington this summer to help stamp out the flames and smoke, many residents of the region's communities they are protecting want to do something in return to say thank you. However, crews who are assigned to battle large wildfires operate under a rigid set of protocols designed to ensure their optimal performance and safety.
The management of the food, the management of how we keep firefighters safe is paramount in getting the firefighters out on the line. We have a very strict policy on how we feed our firefighters, what food they get, because they have to have certain nutrition. Although we really appreciate baked goods and such, we have to ensure that those goods that we're giving our firefighters were cooked and made in a controlled type environment under the health standards that we have.
Moreover, everything that a firefighter might need, from batteries and Band-Aids to lip balm and granola bars, has already been accounted for and supplied by an incident management's coordination teams, and many base camps simply aren't set up to accept and facilitate donations of any kind from the general public. If you do want to give something back to the brave men and women who are risking life and limb to keep us all safe, though, there are a few things you can purchase to make a difference, such as a poster board, a can of spray paint, and a set of colored markers, along with a little bit of your time.
The best thing that people can do, though, is put a sign out in front of your house or go by and just thank a firefighter. That means more to them than a cookie. Showing they're all away from home for 2 weeks at a time. They're away from their families, or missing birthdays, or missing holidays. And I'll tell you what, just a thank you out on the signpost in front of your house goes a long ways for our firefighters.
Remember, too, that beyond the handcrafted messages of gratitude, perhaps the best thing of all you can do for every active firefighter is to keep them in your thoughts as much as possible and continue sending them your positive energies and prayers as well. Reporting for iFIBER 1 News, I'm Chris Hansen.
This segment is brought to you by
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
Chelan County cryptocurrency miners came back for another round of public comment Monday before the PUD, hoping not to lose the cheap electricity rates that brought them here. PUD commissioners took no action, instead scheduling a further hearing on September 17th and keeping in place a moratorium on servicing new crypto operations that's been on the books since March. Meanwhile, people already crypto mining in the county lined up to be heard.
If we were to adopt the proposed rates here in the county, I think it was 7 to 10 cents or something like that for my miners in my household, then I would be forced out of business. So I'm coming to these meetings each week wondering if I'm going to be able to keep the lights on for another day, because these rates would put me right out of business.
Crypto users mine value by using specialized software to solve algorithmic puzzles and unlock more currency like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It takes a lot of computing power, so cheap electricity like that provided by Washington PUDs is in high demand. The Chelan PUD's new proposed rates would charge 7 to 10 cents per kilowatt hour for mining inside a residence, much higher than average households pay. Nick Martini said that change could cost him more than he paid for similar power services in California.
I've made the move and taken this risk and end up actually paying more than I would with a for-profit utility in one of the most expensive markets in the country. So I'm hoping to avoid that scenario.
PUD manager Steve Wright said that estimate is exaggerated, but the board and PUD staff members agreed they need more time to look at the needs of residential crypto operators. Other PUD customers who aren't involved in crypto still worry about the risk.
What is cryptocurrency really benefiting our community? I mean, it's not like Alcoa providing a lot of jobs, a lot of solar panels, a lot of projects back to the community. It's individuals trying to make money.
Jefferson Robbins, iFIBER 1 News.
Fires across the western United States and Canada have filled the skies outside with unhealthy levels of smoke. High school football teams across the Columbia Basin and Wenatchee areas have been forced to practice indoors while the air quality outside has been dangerous. Ephrata head coach Jay Mills is one of the many coaches in the local area whose team has been practicing indoors this week.
Being inside, we're confined. We don't have a lot of space, so we've got to be careful moving around, throwing footballs, doing that kind of stuff. But also we're out of the smoke being inside, which is nice. We're not in pads right now, so being inside is really kind of okay. Once we get pads on, I would like to be outside and do that, but we've got some kids with asthma that we got to be careful with, and we got to care for our kids first.
Teams will be practicing in pads starting next week, but the air quality is expected to improve over the weekend. Every coach will be hoping for good air quality next week when the pads go on. I'm Adam Chakosky for iFIBER 1 Sports.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.